Hey there, and welcome to A Well-Rounded Life, the podcast, a space for creative entrepreneurs seeking an intentional life and biz filled with grace, passion, and purpose. I'm your host, Geomyra. I'm a mama, wife, dessert fanatic, and on the ultimate mission to get you closer to your idea of what it means to live a well-rounded life. Right here is where you'll find curated resources, quick tips, and relatable stories, no matter what season of life you're in. So hang out with me for a bit and let's dive in. Hey, friend. Welcome to A Well-Rounded Life. Geomyra here, and I am looking forward to today's show with my special guest, Kate Crocco. Kate Crocco, MSW, LCSW, is a psychotherapist, confidence and mindset coach, and writer who mentors female leaders around the globe. She has coached thousands of women through one-on-one, group, and mastermind programs, as well as through her Confidence Ladies Club community. Her first book of two, Thinking Like a Boss, just released with Bigger Books on February 18th, 2020. She is the host of a weekly podcast, Thinking Like a Boss, where she regularly interviews female entrepreneurs from various fields who have found success in business and in life. A guest expert on numerous podcasts and telesummits, Kate has been quoted in publications such as The Huffington Post, Best Kept Self, She Knows, and Blog Her. Kate's mission is to empower women to go after their dreams by helping them break down the walls and fears that have been holding them back from greatness through lovingly challenging them to step into the best version of themselves. Kate currently resides in New York with her husband, her two sweet girls, and her rescue pup, Turbo. Kate and I connected a few weeks ago, and I knew she would be the perfect person to chat with my well-rounders all about boundaries. Yes, boundaries. We all know that sometimes we have people, clients, even family members that overstep their boundaries. And then, on the other side of that, we may feel like people are overstepping when in fact, we never even set healthy boundaries to begin with. Am I talking to you? Well, then listen in, because today's episode is exactly what you need so that you can shake things up a bit. Let's set some boundaries so we may get closer to being intentional and living more well-rounded. Without further ado, let's dive in and welcome Kate. Hi, Kate. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
No problem. I'm super excited. And first off, I just want to thank you for reaching out to me. I know that you have some insights and expertise that will just be such a treat for our audience. So I know it's stuff that they need. So that's why I'm super excited to have you on the show. Okay, so before we get into the thick of the show, Kate, do me a favor and please introduce yourself to our well-rounders, which is what I call our amazing listeners.
Yeah, so I'm Kate Crocco. I'm a confidence and mindset coach for female entrepreneurs. I'm also a psychotherapist. I'm a mama of two little girls, 2.5 and under, and a wife, a mama to a rescue dog that's 97 pounds.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I always like to add that in because they think I usually call him a puppy actually. And people think puppy. They're like, oh, we must be so cute and little. And then
No, it's a grown man. Yeah.
He's definitely a grown man.
Wow. That's awesome. And you have two under 2.5?
Yeah. So they're 19 months apart, 15-month-old, and Annabelle is going to be 3 in April.
Goodness gracious. My kids are five years apart and I'm still struggling some days. So
I think it probably only gets harder. That's my whole outlook in life.
Goodness gracious. But today I'm excited because we are going to dive into boundaries. And, with our show, Well-Rounded Life, we definitely try to focus on taking our time back, focusing on what matters, and saying no so that we can say yes to the things that really matter. So I'm excited to dive into that. So let me just get into the interview. So Kate, we hear it all the time that we need to set boundaries in our business and our personal lives. But my question to you is, why do you feel that is important?
I think that, first of all, most people don't like the word boundaries. They get some type of feeling when they hear it. It doesn't have, I wish there was something else that I could call it, because people don't feel positive when they hear the word boundaries.
Right.
But
right.
What I always say is boundaries just keep people safe, and that's what they're there for.
Mm-hmm.
And I really learned this big time when I opened my first business, which was a psychotherapy practice. You know, being a therapist, one really good thing about it is that you have to set very clear boundaries, because in order for your clients to have the best treatment and to really get better, there's a lot of things like about you as a person that they don't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I really learned that foundation from being a therapist, that boundaries are so important and they're only there to keep you safe. So I remember when I started my therapy practice, I put together this, I guess it's sort of like not an agreement, but can't remember what I actually what I actually called it back then, but it had all of the sort of policies and procedures of the practice. So here's what to do if you're sick. Here's what to do if it snows. I live in New York, so we get a lot of snow here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what to do if I see you at the grocery store. And it was about maybe but somewhere between like 7 and 12 pages long. And I remember colleagues and friends saying, like, if you're going to be sending that to people, they're not going to want to work with you, because that's a whole lot for them to read. And what I really try to reiterate with my clients is just share with them, like, yes, this is a lot to read, but this will make both of our lives so much easier
Mm-hmm.
if we can just get everything out on the table to begin with.
I love that. It reminds me of, I guess now in my coaching business, when we book a client, we send them a welcome to the family email, and it outlines the things such as office hours, our travel schedule. We keep updated there, how they can reach us, when they can reach us, and different things so that they know that I'm accessible, but they also know that I have a family, I have other clients, we have a lot going on. I'm here for you, but I need you to kind of just meet me halfway and know that I'm not going to answer your phone call at 11 o'clock
Mhm.
at night or your email, but I got you in the morning type of thing. So it's also, I guess it's my guidelines of how we roll, for lack of a better word, so that everyone is aware that this is how we roll so that we can have the best service offerings to our clients as well. So I get it, and I commend you for actually taking the time to do it. Yes, it's a lot, but it's needed. It's definitely needed.
Yeah, I think it really helps and protects you from having some uncomfortable conversations in the future too. So like, let's just say you are a therapist and you're at the grocery store and you see a client and you duck and hide because you don't want them to feel awkward. You don't want to
Right,
just it's sort of a boundary in the therapy world. If they don't know that, they're going to think, "Oh, like, is she rejecting me?" Or
right.
she doesn't,
Yeah,
like, she's embarrassed of me. And I think it just, honestly, like I just always say, with every relationship, whether it's in business or life, just put everything out on the table to begin with.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Same reason why I don't post about all my clients on social, because
Yeah.
I'm like their hidden secret behind the scenes. And so it's a respect thing for them as well. All
Mm.
right. So another question I have for you are, what are some signs that it is actually time to set some boundaries?
I think when you are starting to feel sort of frazzled, starting to feel like your life is no longer in control and you're no longer doing what you actually want to do. And maybe, I want to just say this, like, don't feel embarrassed for anyone listening today if you have no idea what it is that you want or what it is you want to do in your life. Because I think for so many, boundaries are hard, and it's so easy to do things because of approval or validation from others, and to fall into that pattern and really forget what your dreams and your passions are. And I
Mm-hmm.
even think of just like motherhood in general, right? Like, for those listening who are maybe stay-at-home moms, you feel like you're an Uber driver and you're, a maid and a chef and a laundry deliverer. Like, you're doing everything all day and you don't really get to sit down and think of the things that you want to do. So when you feel like you're starting to snap at your kids and again feel out of control in your life because you're no longer doing what you want to do or have no idea what you want to do, that's a sign that the boundaries have to come back or they have to get started. there's like one simple way that I really help my clients with this. And it started back when I was a therapist. We had something called a DBT diary card. And this was used with clients who, again, had difficulty saying no or just wanted to find a way to create more control with their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it simply is just like a page, and top of the page, there's like it's a chart, and there's every day of the week at the top. And then on the left, it goes down and it shows all of basically like the basic needs that you have to survive. So did you
Mm.
eat your 3 square meals today? Did you drink water? Did you take your medication? Did you get enough sleep? Did you have exercise? Did you take some time for gratitude or prayer or meditation? Did you check in with someone today so you're not isolating yourself? And I think these sound so simple and so basic, but if you can really meet your basic needs, you will be so much better at setting boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for sure. So let's just say we've been in this like sleep deprivation thing a little lately with our 2.5-year-old trying to get her into her big girl bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be so careful because when I don't get a lot of sleep, what I want to do in the morning and throughout the whole day is to drink a lot of coffee. And when I drink a lot of coffee, get jittery, I start to feel a little bit different. I am then dehydrated because I'm not drinking enough water. And
It's a whole
maybe,
spiral.
yeah, yeah. And then maybe you forget to eat or whatever because you're not, it sort of suppresses your appetite. And before you know it, you're just not yourself. And when you're not feeling yourself, when you're not feeling confident, it's so easy to let people overstep into just say yes because sometimes it feels so hard to say no.
I agree. And yeah, definitely you have to just, like we said, set the boundaries so that things don't get out of control. And then it makes it more challenging to bring things back and reel them in. I asked my friends over on Instagram to submit some questions that I could ask you during our time together.
Mm.
And one of the questions asked was, how do you maintain healthy boundaries in a relationship?
Mm. I love this question. And I think the best way to have healthy boundaries in a relationship is to do some inner work and to really know what it is that you want, to be very clear and very specific on what you want. Because if you aren't respecting yourself or you don't really know what your hopes, dreams, and desires are, it's hard to have other people give that back to you. And it's hard to ask for what you want. And it's easy to just sort of take whatever it is that you're getting. So I think the best place to start is to really try to figure out what it is that you want in the relationship, whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship or family relationship, and then start to verbalize that. And, again, most people, well, a lot of people don't like boundaries. And you'll see the people who are very boundaried actually enjoy boundaries. But the people that have the most difficulty and are the type of people who overstep boundaries, they're the ones who really don't like boundaries.
Right. Yeah, I definitely can see that. And it's the people who are all in and have set the boundaries, they understand the benefits.
Yeah.
Whereas others who may come off judgmental or feel some type of way, it's because they haven't necessarily maybe even done it in their own relationships or set the boundaries for themselves as well. So I definitely can see the point that you made there. So another listener mentioned that small town boundaries are the hardest. And she
Mm.
wanted me to ask you, how do you lovingly phrase that you need space or you need to put boundaries in place?
So honestly, this is going to be hard for many people to do, but I really think that honesty is always the best policy. I think that so often we come up, like we try to find other things, like excuses, like I don't have time, like sorry, I'm not avoiding you, I just haven't had time. You're going to feel best if you can just be open and honest with your friends. Like,
Right, right.
right now I'm in this season and, I'm really just focusing on my family or, X, Y, and Z. I don't really have time for hangout or doing these other things anymore. And rather than saying like maybe committing and then not showing up or canceling at the last minute,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's sometimes we just have to have hard conversations, and rather than drag out the process, just tell the truth.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great point, is that we need to communicate. And I've mentioned this on the show before, communicate to the people around you what you are working on, what you have going on, your mental state, and just the projects, everything, so that they can say, okay, I get it. They're not just blowing me off. They're not just being standoffish. They're not just being mean, but no, literally, they have things going on that are a priority. And so I totally respect it versus you not communicating it and then
Mhm.
people feeling that you're just not trying to hang out with them or that you don't want to give them the time. So I totally get that as well. So I agree. Honesty is the best policy. And I
Yeah.
love the next question as well, which is how do you reset boundaries for a client you've already let push your boundaries?
Oh, that's a good one. So I love this time of year, and I think that we can sort of use the different seasons of life and like what we're used to. So we're used to growing up and going to school, and then when we're adults, like our if you have kids, your kids go to school. So for the winter months, like the new year, just saying, hey, my policies for this year are changing and I just want to share these with you. Here's the new outline. And then
Absolutely.
maybe it's the summertime and you say, hey, like my office policies are going to shift a little bit because of the summer break or whatever. And then you can do the same with the school year. Like, I think there's always a way that you can reset the boundaries. And I've had so many clients say before, okay, like I'll put this in my policies for next year. And I'm like, no, just get
Do it now.
started now.
Right.
And another thing, again, is you can just be honest and say, hey, like, I know when we started, like, these were my office hours, but right now, my life is changing and shifting a little bit. I'm still
Hmm.
going to be available for as many hours as you signed up for, but my hours are just going to shift a little bit.
I like the point that you just made. And for those that are listening, you have the right at any moment and at any time to shift, make changes and adjustments for your mental being. If you have projects or deadlines that you need to work on, you have every right to go back and change your work hours or change the days that you even work or change, hanging out with your friends if you know you want to start your side hustle or whatever it is. You have the right to kind of ease into a new season of change as long as you communicate that to them and as long as you just know that you're doing this for a bigger purpose at the end of the day. So I love that. I love that as well. How does one gain enough confidence to say enough is enough?
Hmm. I think through practice.
Mm-hmm.
The first time you set a boundary with someone, it's going to be really hard. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You might feel like you're blacking out or seeing stars. And just know each time that you set a boundary, you're going to grow your confidence. You're going to feel a little bit better about yourself. You're going to have more self respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you're almost, I see it as this, like I'm almost like addicted to boundaries in a way. Like I love setting boundaries because I know the impact that it has on me, my family, and I know the impact that it has on the other person. Because not only does it keep the other person safe, but it also is an example to them and teaches them a healthy way to have relationships with people.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. So, Kate, you are the go to gal for helping clients make big decisions. And I'm just curious to know what's your formula for that?
Yeah, so I love, just as much as I love boundaries, I love decision making because I think decisions can keep people so paralyzed and sort of running around frantically to everything external and really
Mhm.
avoiding the internal. And I think that us getting quiet with ourselves, like that's where we really find the answers.
Mm,
And I
mhm.
think that it's so easy to ask people for advice, to Google things, to just look for the answers in almost like a biased way too. Like, I want to make this next big move and I'm feeling this way. Like, I think we already sort of know what our answer is going to be. And we just look for people to validate and say,
So
yes,
true.
or
Yes,
like
so
give us
true.
that permission,
Mm.
where that's not always the best place to make a decision. I think that it's turning everything off, getting quiet, sitting still. And I have this little formula that I've been using for years. And I joke because I used this when I was deciding to marry my husband. He doesn't really listen to any of these podcasts, so he'll
Oh.
never know.
All right, I gotta hear this formula. So what's the formula?
So it's so simple, and people are like mind blown once they start it. So it's a pros and cons list, but it just goes the next step. So you take a piece of paper, fold it in half, fold it in half again. I'm old fashioned, I'm pen to paper kind of girl.
Same here.
Open it up. You have 4 boxes on your page. Top left corner, you're going to write the pros of doing the thing, whatever the thing is. Yeah, top right corner, the cons of doing the thing. Bottom left corner, pros of not doing the thing. Bottom right corner, the cons of not doing the thing.
Oh, okay.
So you're looking at the page and you're like, Kate, you're repeating yourself. Like, this is the same exact thing. And yes, it's very similar, but when you can look at it and you have 4 different choices that you can make rather than 2, because I think when you do pros and cons, you go into it with a biased opinion, you already know which one you're going to choose. I mean,
Hmm.
that's how I am. I'll put like all the positive things on the pros because that's what I want. And then I'll put like 2 cons when there are so many more cons.
Right, right.
So looking at it from this bird's eye view and really just saying, okay, I'm going to remove emotion from this and I'm just going to state the facts. So the pros of moving ahead with whatever are blah, blah, blah. The cons of moving ahead with whatever, blah, blah, blah. The pros of not are this, and the cons of not are this.
Hmm.
And when you can look at all 4 sides, your answer, I tell you every time, like, it just stands out on the page. You know which one it is. Like, you know what the right thing is to do.
I have some decisions that I need to make, so I'm definitely going to get to work and try this formula and see where I land. Because you're right, sometimes we trick ourselves
Yeah.
and we fill the page with the cons if we're afraid to take the leap. And so we're like, nope, we're this, maybe I shouldn't. So we do that. But I feel like this is a brand new year. So for
Yeah.
those that are listening, stop, playing yourself and legit just do the work, pen to paper, so that you can just get in the game and do the things that you need to do that get you closer to your purpose and get you closer to doing the things that you know you should be doing for sure. Or even getting rid of the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, because that's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. And just start doing more of like what you want to do.
Right. And it's crazy because we talk often about making time to focus on what matters most on this show. And a question that I have for you is, how do we cut the crap, which is, I know you use that phrase a lot, and
Yeah.
find time for making our big dreams happen?
Yeah. So, number one is setting those boundaries. And
Hmm.
in order to set the boundaries, you've got to know what it is that you actually really want. And then just doing the easy things. So, looking through your calendar and saying, is this something that I really want to be doing? Or is this something that I feel like I have to do, or something
Hmm.
that I should do, or I need to do to have that person's approval or to move ahead in my business, and only start doing the things that you really deeply desire. And yet, there are going to be things in life and business that you might not want to actually do that you will do, but I think there's a little bit of a difference. I think, especially, let's just use the example of business owners. There's, so often, especially when you're newer in business, there's all these things that you think you have to do, and you get so lost and caught up in that. And
Hmm.
you feel like you have no time. It's just that you're not really prioritizing your time and you're not focusing on what really matters. And
That's so true. Yes.
really, for any business, the thing that matters the most is building relationships.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. Yes, relationship building is key, networking and then building and then nurturing relationships. We talk about that often on the show. And so putting those boundaries in place so that you can focus on what matters most. I love that. I love that.
I think
And
it's,
yeah,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I just said I think that's a key. It's so simple and we make things so complicated. So
Mhm.
set them boundaries. That's what you got to do. Yeah. Question for you on a personal level. What are you saying no to in order to say yes to what matters most in your upcoming season?
I like this question because I feel like this changes every single day and sometimes every minute of the day. So I want to just pause and think for today. What's something that I'm saying no to prepare me for this upcoming season? This is a little different. I am saying no to my fears right now.
Hmm.
So I'm setting more of a boundary with myself
Good for
and
you.
saying like I am not allowed to go to that place because I have a lot of fears. And I like to share this stuff because I think that wherever we are in business, we're never perfect. We never figure it all out. We never have all the answers. And even as a mindset coach, I still struggle. And I've worked through so much, but there are bigger fears that I have. And I really allow those fears sometimes to take hold of my mind. And that one fear is speaking in front of a lot of people. So, like big rooms of people. And it's something I really want to do. So, for today, that's something that I'm choosing not to focus on and I'm choosing to say no to. Like, my mind does not have space for you. I'm
I
not
love
going
that.
to think about you. And I'm only going to think about how I can work on myself and focus on getting to that place.
Yes, I think that's so important. It's basically just kicking out fear, and there's no room at all for fear because there's so many things that I want to do, and there's no room to and waste on the fears that we put in our head sometimes. Sometimes we are our worst enemies,
Mhm.
and it's not everybody else around us or anything else. It's just mindset, just getting back on track. So I love that. And one question I wanted to ask you is what is your definition of a well-rounded life?
I love this. I think it changes and shifts, and I feel like that's my answer for a lot of things.
You're
Is
allowed.
Yeah, I think a well-rounded life is a flexible life, a life that doesn't have to say things need to be this way right now, relationships need to look this way right now.
Hmm.
A well-rounded life can just sort of flow and roll with the punches and continue to keep on going when life is really messy and life is hard,
Hmm. Hmm. No,
and
I
still
love
to
that.
find like the simple joys in life. Like yesterday, I this is so silly, but I went to make breakfast and I cracked open eggs and two of the eggs had a double yolk, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
Yeah, the little things, right?
The little things.
I love it. And I just wanted you to give a quick word of encouragement or advice for someone that needs to make a shift and set those boundaries. Something that you feel like would be ideal to that person that is tuned in, like they were sent here to listen because they know they needed this show. So, what words of encouragement or advice do you have?
Start setting the boundaries in the little things because it will make the big things so much easier and it will prepare you for the big things. Do something every single day that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. For some people, it's really scary to go, drop into a gas station and say, "Hey, can I have 4 quarters for my dollar?"
Hmm.
Like little simple things like that. Like find little ways to be assertive, to use your voice, to speak up, because when you can use it in the little ways, it's going to be so much easier in those big ways. So setting
That's so
those big
true.
boundaries with clients or family members or your boss.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that need to set boundaries with their boss or their coworkers or people in their families for sure. So I hope that if you are listening and you know that's you, that you feel encouraged to just take the steps to set the boundaries so that you can live more well-rounded as well. So I love that. I love that. Okay, this is so good. Like so many practical tips that people can implement, and hopefully this is a wake-up call to someone that has been either taken advantage of or someone that's about to embark on a new season, or that needs to sit down and get to work on and do the things that they've been called to do. So I just love the tips that you provided so that they can just put the boundaries in place and make time for what matters most. So thank you for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, Kate. So, as you know, on our show, we love to do rapid fire questions. This is one of my favorites. And so, I'm curious to know, are you ready to jump into rapid fire?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. You're stuck on an island. What are the three things you must have?
Coffee,
Okay.
chocolate.
Mm.
I wanted to say like paper and pencil, but that's two more things. So I'll say phone so that I can write on my phone.
Okay, that's good. And I always, for tell people, I always put a note besides the kids, right?
Yeah,
I
I saw that because of course I would have said my kiddos first. I'm sorry, Hubs. I probably would not have left.
Yeah, everybody, yeah, we can't bring the kids. It's the disclaimer because most of us would bring our kids or our husband or whatnot. So, what is a misconception that people have about you?
Ooh, I think that things are easy for me
Hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I I'm really good at just not letting, and again, this is like a lot of work, and this is probably not a rapid fire answer, but
No,
um
you're good.
I just roll with the punches and I just keep moving forward. Like I don't allow myself to stay stuck. So it's very easy to look and say like, oh, it's easy for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially with the type of job that you have, people
Mhm.
like you made a great point earlier when you said about mindset, and you have to condition yourself again to just change the way that you think about things. And it's probably an assumption for some people that it's easy when you're human before anything else. So yeah, I can definitely see that. What is something on your bucket list?
Ooh, going to like getting out of the country. The only place I've ever traveled to out of the country has been Jamaica.
Hmm.
And I would love to explore the world and see other countries. So that's definitely on my bucket list.
So do you have a place in mind if you got all expenses paid? Where are you going?
I don't, to be honest. I have not done my research yet, and there's not one place that just jumps out that I have to go to yet.
Okay, yeah, research and get that four squares,
Yeah.
pros, cons.
Yeah, right. I love that.
Right. One of my favorite questions, Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
Beyonce, back to Destiny's Child.
Oh, throwback, the best. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. What is the nicest thing that someone has done for you?
Having when I had my first daughter say, "Hey, let me come over and hold the baby so you can take a shower."
Oh my gosh, it's that little things that
Mhm.
people don't understand.
Mhm. Like that really means the most to a new mom. So, you
Yes.
know, someone just offer her that.
Yes, meals, just some time to sit and love on the baby so that they can
Yeah.
catch their breath. Absolutely. What are, well, actually, who are your role models and mentors?
I would say my number one, there's two people that I really look up to. One is Marie Forleo.
Mm-hmm.
She B School. And I just really love just how she's like a solid rock. And
Mm-hmm.
then someone else that she's friends with, Damon John, he was on Shark Tank. He
Yes.
has the company Fubu. He's just like a really generous person. And I don't know if you've read his book, The Power of Broke.
Yes, yes,
He's
yes.
such a humble person, like where he's come from, like he had a hard life.
Right.
And to be able to get to where he is today, like that's someone I look up to.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm with you. People like that who have definitely built something out of what may some people may think is nothing. I have so much respect for those people. All right. If you could learn any skill in the world, what would it be?
I would love to have a beautiful voice.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to have a beautiful voice because I love to sing, but I don't have a good voice. So
Love it.
I'd love to have a beautiful voice.
I can picture you now singing all the Destiny's Child throwbacks in the car.
I'm not going to do it because you're not going to want to hear it. So
I love it. Favorite season or time of year?
fall.
Same here. I love fall.
Yeah.
And what's your guilty pleasure?
This is a tough one. Like hiding, like going up in my room and just closing the door and having some silence for a little bit.
Oh man,
So hiding.
It's so needed.
Yeah, hiding away for a little.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. Yes, I love it. So, Kate, what's next for you and where may people connect with you?
Yeah, so I have a podcast called Thinking Like a Boss. I love hanging out on Instagram stories. And if you're interested in the book that I just wrote called Thinking Like a Boss, where I talk about the top 12 limiting beliefs, you can go to my site, katecrocco.com/book, and read about all the details there.
I love it. And of course, we're going to drop everything in the show notes and on our website, awellroundedlifepodcast.com. And you guys definitely need to connect with Kate. She has some amazing resources coming out in the coming weeks. So definitely want to make sure you connect with her. So awesome. And just thank you, Well-Rounders, for tuning in. Thank you, Kate, for being an amazing guest and sharing your thoughts with us. Well-Rounders, I hope that you found a few takeaways that you may be able to apply right away. And I just want you, if you're listening, to do us a favor and screenshot and share that you are tuning in. It would mean so much to us. So, sometimes as podcasters, we're out here by ourselves and we're like, is anybody listening? So it's just nice when you guys tag us and screenshot so we know you are tuned in. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you have subscribed, rated, and reviewed our podcast. Follow myself and Kate over on IG because we hang out over there. And just thank you for listening. And like I said, Kate, thank you for joining me. This has been so much fun. Thank you. And Well-Rounders, we will chat with you again next week, and we will see you soon. Bye. Friends, thanks for kicking it with us this week. Remember to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode airs. I'd love it if you leave us a review and share this goodness with your squad. Until next time, seek a well-rounded life and remember to focus on what matters most.